Hello everybody, George here from the Lights on Data show. So happy to be here on location, finally meet Dora in person.
Finally, George, after so many years.
It's been a long time, and I'm so excited to be here again with you in person because we've had you on the Lights on Data show, virtually of course. And I was just mentioning to you that I think those two episodes are some of the favorites for our listeners. So I'm happy that I get the pleasure of sitting in front of you and benefiting from your wisdom.
No, thank you so much. I am so excited to meet in person and to be here. And thank you to the audience. If the content resonates, that's great.
Of course. Well, so I want to ask you a couple of things, and I think this is public knowledge, but if not, I'll scrape it afterwards. But you've came to the U.S. when you're about 17 years old.
Yes, that was a long time ago, but about 17 years old with limited English, actually.
Right.
I really had to train my ear to understand what people were telling me. I think I've said that in the past. The first few months, the first 3 months or so, I don't think I said anything other than hello and goodbye and thank you, George. I don't know how I got through college the first year.
It's a good start. But afterwards, fast forwarding like 30 years or so,
Yeah.
you've really risen within the data space and had a lot of different positions. You've gained a lot of experience and knowledge in data and AI space. You eat strategy for breakfast, and you're able to provide really sage advice to any company that's approaching you, and they can learn from what you've gathered throughout all these years. And now you're also trying to give back to the community, and especially our better halves or the women in our lives. For anybody that's trying to get a leg up in data and tech and rise in that career,
Yes.
you're helping them. Anywhere from newcomers and new people in the industry.
100%. Yes. Thank you.
And what motivated you to first really give back?
Well, like you said, I spent 30 years in corporate and I worked for many different companies, small, medium, large. Being in data and tech, as challenging as it is, being a woman in data and tech, it's
Right.
got that extra layer of navigating, as I say, the choppy waters of being in it.
Right.
So for me, after 30 years, I thought to myself, okay, I have a lot of energy, I want to continue, but it was really two reasons. So one, to be honest, the selfish reason is how do I get a little bit more control over my own schedule to spend more time with my loved ones because life goes by fast.
Life's short.
And that's the plain truth. But the other reason why I'm focusing on what I'm focusing is because I really want to help people. I want to take all of the lessons that I learned over the 30 years being in data tech. And how do I help people, as I say, soar higher, go higher, like accelerate, taking charge, owning their career, helping them get noticed, stand out, really get the rewards that they deserve. I happen to believe that if people work hard, they really ought to be rewarded and they deserve that recognition. And what I've realized over the years is that so many of us in data and tech, we're great and we have, really competent with our technical skills. But I've met so many people, I used to be one, to think that if I do really good job, somebody's going to notice and reward me. And what I've learned over the years is that that's not enough. Communicating the value that we bring back is important. It's not enough to just do great work.
Right.
If nobody knows about it, and if we don't know how to communicate about the value that that brings to the team or the organization, that takes away from us doing it, but it also takes away from the organization, the team, and everybody else that will benefit
Right.
from it. And I want to take all of that and help people really figure out what they want to do in their careers, how to get there faster, how to navigate their careers with confidence and have clarity and purpose in what they're doing and learn from all the lessons that I learned the hard way that I wish
love
I
it.
knew 30 years ago.
But hey, other generations are benefiting from your lessons. And that self-promotion, like you mentioned, it's so much needed, and we do forget, and we tend to rely maybe on our managers to they'll see it, they'll promote me, they'll provide me with opportunities, but in real life, that's not always happening.
That's not always happening. Many managers will. As a matter of fact, I created a program that I call SOAR with Confidence. chart, steer, and anchor your career success. And that includes a digital product, a community, and then group coaching as well as one-on-one coaching. What I'm trying to say is that the digital product, it's 5 modules, 26 lessons, many templates, and so forth. But my one module, it's actually called something that people that know me, I've been saying it for a long time, it's called Be the Captain. Like, take the helm, take charge of your career, right? Because not every manager will be ready themselves to help you, or they may be under a lot of pressure. And at the end of the day, what I've learned is no one else will do it for you. So really, how do you be the captain of your own career and take charge and navigate it and steer it to where you want to go? So it starts with
Great.
getting that clarity, and then all of those tools and strategies to navigate to where you want to take your career,
Yeah.
and accelerate that path to success.
That's a great analogy. And having known Dora for a little while, even if you don't know her, I think in the first couple of minutes of interacting with Dora, you can see, first of all, she's a very knowledgeable person. Second of all, she's an incredible, successful person that you had an amazing, and you still have an amazing career forward. And to me, what's also important besides these two great qualities that you're possessing is how kind you are and supportive you are to others. And I think this really, it means the world to a lot of people. And I think it's what also sets your program apart, besides everything that I mentioned before.
You know, George, thank you for saying that. Thank you for the kind words. And back to the question from before, too. At the very core of it all, for me, I do better when I know that I can help others do better. Even while I was leading my corporate career, for many years now on the side, I was mentoring, coaching, teaching, speaking, right? And right now, at the core of what I want to do is drive impact through building that legacy of empowerment. You know, if you go on my website, I try very hard to put in a few words what it is that I want to do. So when I'm saying from a teenage immigrant to a data and AI executive to building a legacy of empowerment, what I'm really passionate about is how do I help others in the data and tech world, especially women in tech, because there is that extra layer of challenges there to do better. So how do I build a legacy of empowerment where I am in my career, my life, for the new generation of data leaders and for women in tech and really anyone that just wants to work hard to get where they want. Because, so here's something else I want to say. Not only no one else will do it for you, but it does take focus and work. Because we're talking about how do we learn to communicate better, to steer our careers to where we want to go, how do we get good at what we're doing, but also learn to drive the impact in a way that others understand it. And this doesn't happen by us just doing it in the corner or thinking about it and not being able to just convey that to the people and the stakeholders that we work with.
Right.
And so for me, building that legacy of empowerment and developing the next generation of data leaders, it's absolutely important and core to my mission right now.
And I appreciate you building that, because I feel, just thinking about it, let's say from the point of view of a newcomer, it just seems overwhelming to even know what should you focus on first. What are the steps that you need to build on? What are those skills that you need to build, and how should you do it? And well, of course, they can benefit from your experience, your knowledge, your lessons learned, your mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. So the program, the digital course that I mentioned, it's really 30 years of lessons. And what I've realized, and I can really relate with what you're saying, because I work with people that are maybe 7 to 10 years in their careers, but also people that are 15 to 20 or 25 years in their careers, right? And having spent 30 years in corporate, from really as a COBOL mainframe program a long time ago to now speaking about AI and rising to the senior leadership role of large corporations. What I've realized is that you learn different lessons as you go up the career, as your accountability rises, as the complexity perhaps of the projects that we work on increase. the people and the key stakeholders that we associate with and we work more closely with, the challenges actually changes. You never stop learning. So for me, to take what I've learned, also not only being in tech, but also what it means to be the only woman or one of the very few women in a leadership table
Yeah.
or in any table for
Yeah.
that matter, right? Being in STEM and being in tech. Yeah, it's absolutely doable and attainable. But part of my mission is why take 10 or 20 or 30 years? I wish I knew even 20 years, even 10 years ago, what I know now. So that's my mission. How do I drive impact? I help people by helping them with that clarity, that purpose, that confidence, accelerate their career growth and success.
I love that. So you don't need to go through 30 years of trial by error, but you can really fast track that according to the needs and the skills and what you want to do.
100%. And one of the things that I do as I work with the people that I coach, even in my small group, I'm very keen at is seeing where everybody is at, right? Because not everybody's at the exact same level in their career, but it's a group right now, my cohort, a group of women, and some of them have been in their careers for 10 years, others for 20, right? So what is it that the person needs? So how can I help them the best I can
Yeah.
to really navigate what they're going through and have a clear strategy and clear path. And you mentioned strategy before, which is absolutely important, right? Having that strategy, but then also knowing how to execute. Because you can't have only one or the other. It takes
Right,
both.
right.
It takes strategy, and it takes doing the work, executing.
Right.
And how do we hold both and make
Right.
them work well
Right.
together?
Well, thank you so much, Dora, for putting this program together and lifting this new generations of women in data, women in tech, and sharing all your knowledge and skills.
George, thank you so much. I'm so happy that we got to meet in person.
Likewise.
And I appreciate the opportunity to speak about it.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much.
Thank you.
And have a good day, everybody.
Bye, everyone.